Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Candace Owens is doing God's work, okay? I'm telling you, man, I love Candace Owens. I know some people think that Candace rubs them the wrong way. I understand why. She's not everybody's cup of tea, but she's definitely my cup of tea, okay? Because I think that she is probably one of the most impressive individuals that we have in the conservative political space. And I am so proud of her, and I am happy that she made this documentary about BLM, because it is really the greatest lie ever sold, okay? And this part right here that I'm going to show you guys should make people angry, right? Anybody that donated to BLM, your money is not going towards black people, right? Except Patrisse Cullors' black family members obviously know about that. But it seems to me like BLM should have change their name to LGBTQ LM, right? LGBTQ Lives Matter, because they have made some whopping donations to some very sketchy places that was exposed in this documentary that I did not know about. And quite honestly, that is really why I wanted to watch it. I mean, we knew all the stuff about Patrisse Cullors and her family members, and how they wasn't really funding the chapters and all that other stuff. But this right here, them donating what is $8 million to some of the stuff that Candace Owens is going to talk about. Again, anybody that donated to BLM, you got played like a fool. But should anybody be surprised that this organization is donating that much money to these types of groups, considering how you have two black women that are also LGBTQ, lesbian to be specific, that running the organization at the top, or were running the organization. So with that being said, I'm not trying to talk too much. I'm going to go ahead and roll this part of the documentary that I think really should be shared with a lot of people, right? And the people, unfortunately, that should be watching this, that should see it, probably won't see it. But again, Black Lives Matter was never about black lives, okay? So let's go ahead and roll this clip.
Also suspicious is the fact that Black Lives Matter designated a whopping $8 million to an out-of-country grant. What? I thought this charity was about addressing police brutality in the United States. Apparently, to do that, you need to send $8 million to Toronto, Canada, to an organization named M4BJ. They purchased a $6.3 million, 10,000 square foot downtown property in Toronto. And I should also mention that M4BJ is run by Patrisse's wife, Janaya Khan, because it is. She is the co-founder, believe it or not, and here's where it gets really interesting. Janaya Khan is gender non-conforming. These terms can be quite sensitive, so let me just use photos to illustrate my point. Janaya used to look like this, and now she looks like this. Now that information would be entirely irrelevant if it wasn't for the way that Patrisse Cullors saw it fit to spend the rest of Black Lives Matter's money. Right?
Real talk. Real talk. Before we get into this, I don't understand it. Somebody that is LGBTQ that watches my channel, I'm pretty sure there's quite a bit of you guys out there. I know that for a fact. What is the point of liking women if you're going to like a woman that wants to be a man, right? If they're going to cut off their breasts, if they're going to try to change their, genitals or whatever, what is the point, right? What is the point? You might as well just date a man. I don't get it. Or date a feminine man, right? Or I'm just saying, I don't really understand it. I never really understood that.
Ready for some BLM Pride? Well, according to their IRS form, $200,000 went to the Transgender Justice Funding Project. Another $200,000 went to the Transgender United Fund. Another $200,000 went to the Transgendered Law Center.
What?
Another $200,000 went to Black Transgendered Media. Another $200,000 went to the Transgendered Variant and Intersex Justice Project. Another $200K went to the Transgendered District. By the way, if you're wondering what that is purportedly going to be the all transgender district. And I guess that's really, really important for Black America advancement in society, I guess, or whatever.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, Candace. They want Black empowerment to be synonymous, to be the same as LGBTQ empowerment. And that's one of the things that really annoys me the most about the ultra super liberal progressive woke agenda, is that they want to make it the same, right? They want black people to be very pro LGBTQ. They want it to be one and the same, right? And I think that's where you get a lot of this stuff from. This is related to that, to the idea that, well, if you're pro LGBTQ, that means you're pro black. Even though, at least specifically in the South, I don't know that many black people from the city, right? So maybe black people in the city different. I know black people in the South, I'm just saying there's a reason why, the black community, again, specifically in the South, is stereotyped to be very homophobic, okay? There's a reason why, okay? So, again, this movement, right, this pressure to make, LGBTQ and black people one and the same, it really does bother me. It disturbs me, okay? Because this is not pro-black, but this is what they mean by saying we're supporting black people. What they really mean is that, hey, we're gonna go support LGBTQ. How much you guys want to bet? More money has went to support white people in the LGBTQ movement, right, that happen to be associated with all these programs that they're donating to, then this has helped out any black business, right? Because again, I haven't heard of any money going towards a black business, going towards a startup, okay? It's something that is real economic empowerment. All that money, if I would have raised that money, I just would have started a venture capital firm, right? I would have said, look, I'm actually going to be about that life. I'm actually going to give people money to start businesses, right? That's what I would do. I'm not giving them no money to do this, right? That's what I would have done with the money, okay? If I had raised, $80, $90 million, I would have started a venture capital firm, right? Because I'm a capitalist, right? I understand capitalism. Capitalism works. I love it. But when you give money to communists, right, to self-described Marxists, this is what you get. Money gets wasted. Nobody knows how to waste money more than a socialist / communist. So nobody should be surprised this is where the money went. Didn't go to any type of real economic empowerment at all.
$200K went to the St. James Infirmary. That organization, by the way, is for, according to their website, it's run by sex workers and is for them. Specifically, escorts, BDSM workers, strippers, peep show workers, phone sex operators, and webcam performers.
Again, you got the chapters begging for money. Begging, please give us some money so we can do some community service, some activism, which a lot of that stuff the chapters do, I don't even agree with that either. But I'm just saying, I would rather the money go there, right, for them to do their grassroots whatever, than for it to go to this, right? So again, you got chapters begging for money while they're just splurging, making it rain on escorts and, transgender nonprofits and stuff like that. Again, if you donated to this organization, you got played. You got played. But again, I don't feel bad for you because it was obvious from the get-go that this was a scam, right? It was a scam. I'm not surprised at all to see the money going to this type of stuff.
It was actually the St. James Infirmary that created the transgendered district. So that's just an organization within another organization, which, by the way, you see a lot of when you go through these documents. So yeah, going to be apparently great big things involving sex workers in the future for Black America. In continuation, the Center for Halstead received $200,000 from Black Lives Matter. They are Chicago's community center dedicated to securing the health and well-being of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, and queer people of Chicago. Similarly, we have the Audre Lorde Project, which received $200,000, and according to their website, they are a lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people of color community organizing center.
Ain't none of this money going towards stopping violence, gang stuff, drugs. None of the money is going to anything having to do with actually helping out Black people. None of it, right? It's all going into the pockets of Patrice Cullors and the people that are running this organization, their family members, right? And the LGBTQ community.
Another $400,000 went to Transgender Advocates Knowledgeable Empowering, or TAKE, as it's known for short. The founder of that organization is a transgendered individual by the name of Daronicia Duncan Boyd. Daronicia is also the executive director of the Transgendered United Fund, which I mentioned earlier, which secured $200,000. So a total $600,000 of BLM money went to a transgendered woman named Daronicia Boyd, who is operating two charities. I found that piece to be very interesting. Here is Daronicia describing in a 2020 interview how they were able to use that money that was received to the organization to purchase more real estate.
We're opening up a new resource center here, and the resource center is almost 3 times as big as our last space that we was in. So we have lots of space and lots of rooms for our clients to come in and enjoy.
I noticed that real estate seems to be a common theme amongst these transgendered organizations. Remember, there's the first ever transgender district, and there are also a couple of houses that are named on their IRS documents. For example, an additional $200,000 was given to the House of Tulip. According to their website, the House of Tulip provides zero-barrier housing to trans and gender non-conforming people. But the one that really stood out as the most nonsensical is the $200,000 that went to the Griffin Gracie Retreat and Educational Center, known as House of Gigi for short. According to that website, they provide services and resources that positively impact the lives, history, and visibility of transgender, gender questioning, and gender non-conforming persons. They admit that they purchased a property in Little Rock, Arkansas back in 2019, and that property was supposed to serve as an oasis and a retreat for transgendered person. But they admit, also on the website, that they actually never held such a retreat. First, because their founder had a stroke and was recovering, and then it was COVID-19, so they still couldn't host a retreat. And despite having never hosted a retreat at this amazing oasis property that they purchased, in 2021, they announced that they purchased a second property next door to the first one. So, yeah. Now, all of the organizations that I just mentioned, none of them, not one, is up to date on filing a tax return with the IRS, which is required for charities, because charities, remember, they don't pay taxes. In other words, I'm not able to tell you how any of these transgendered organizations spent the money that BLM poured into their organizations during the 2020 and 2021 tax year. If you continue to look through BLM IRS docs, you'll notice that they gave millions of dollars to various Black Lives Matter organizations throughout America, or at least at first glance, it appears that they did.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna get too deep into the documentary, right? For those of you who actually really, want to watch it, but wow. I mean, it was a scam, right? It was a scam to get people rich and to support people who these people think are the black community. Their idea of the black community is the individuals that got all that money. It's not the straight Christian black person, right? They got no money, right? They ain't get nothing. They ain't see nothing. You saw nothing, okay? But if you're black, right, and you're trans or you're LGBTQ, you saw all the money, right? The organization definitely benefited you. And again, this is why you have to have backlash against these types of organizations. This is why you have to criticize these organizations, scrutinize these organizations, because people donated money to this organization thinking that this was going to go and help black communities. And it didn't, right? It didn't. It helped a community, but I can't say it helped the black community, because I don't think that the black community is defined by LGBTQ. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's not. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.